Hello and welcome back to another Chateau de Bruges video. You may have already noticed that things are slightly different this week, and that's because myself and Danielle are away in the UK, back organising our long stay visas to be able to continue renovating the chateau over in France. That being said, Graham is still at the chateau and is still recording everything that he is doing in terms of the renovation process. So you will see that content. So the purpose of today's video is to show you as much of the renovation process that we have already started as we possibly can. Please bear in mind that right at the start of our journey, we weren't sure that we were going to be utilising YouTube. So not everything has been recorded in landscape and not everything has been videoed. So you may see some videos in portrait. You may also just see some photos in either portrait or landscape as well. This should be the only video like this, as from the start of June we knew that we were going to be utilising YouTube, and therefore we filmed as much as we possibly could in that landscape mode, as you have seen already in all of our other videos. You may hear my voice a lot through this video, as I'm going to try and commentate through some of the pictures as you're seeing them, just to tell you really what's going on and to give you the whole story. That being said, I hope you continue to enjoy our Chateau de Bruges videos, and without further ado, I'm going to start the first instalment of the renovations at Chateau de Bruges. Off we go. Okay, so we're going to start off in the Ravel ensuite, which is a smaller room that you see on screen. Within the first few days, we had the camera crew there videoing for the show that we're going to be on later in the year, based in the UK. I can't tell you what that is just yet, but we were very busy ripping out the kitchenette that was originally in the Ravel ensuite. Didn't have masses of time to take any videos, so that's why you're seeing just some moving pictures of us taking the tiles out and Danielle taking the lino up off the floor there. Now once the kitchenette was out, Dad was super busy running all of the plumbing and all of the waste in preparation for the Ravel ensuite. He had to move quite a lot of hot and cold water pipes to make sure that they were in the right areas for the things that we needed in the ensuite. Once he finished, he then boarded up the floors with the plywood and then began to box in all of the pipe work behind the shower and the hot water tank that is above the shower in the Ravel ensuite. So this French plaster, very different to the UK plaster, has to make it very runny, otherwise it goes off while it's in the bucket. Dad seems to be adapting to plastering life in France at the moment. So once the walls were all flattened off, we began to box in the shower, and Danielle began to get some anti-humidity paint onto the walls, and I, Jake, started to paint all of the woodwork that went around in the Ravel ensuite with the dark green, which you can see in some of these images as well. And this is me just showing you that process. I'm in charge of all the delicate areas when it comes to painting, all of the edging, and you can see I was really happy with the edging in this room.
So this morning we've been to Clermont-Ferrand to pick up some of our tiles that we ordered about 5 weeks ago now. So we picked those up this morning, brought them all back to the chateau, lugged them all up to the first floor, which is very tiring. As you can see, I'm a little bit out of breath and a bit hot. But yeah, it's all here, got enough adhesive, the tiles for this room, and the tile trim and the grout, and we've also got enough adhesive, grout and tile trim for the Tous room as well, because obviously currently we're in Ravel room. And yeah, let's crack on with the tiling.
So what I'm doing at the moment is trying to set this bit of wood in a position where it's level so that we can put our first tile on top of this bit of wood, and then that way our first tile that we put on we know is level and plumb, hopefully meaning that every tile that we then put on top of that will also be level. And then once all those ones are dry, you then take the batten off at the bottom. I believe then you do the floor first, and then you put your last row of tiles on. I'm going to use the best hammer in the chateau, Danielle's super hammer. It was gifted to her from some of her favourite students back at her school in the UK, and it works like a dream. It hammers things in. So we're about to get going. I'm going to start with the green tiles. Do 5 of them coming off in like a brick style fashion. And we've got a layout or one row of our decorative tiles, and then 5 layers of the white tiles. So we've got a couple of rows of tiles on the wall now. Graham's just making his way up onto the 3rd row. As you can see, we've had no issues so far. And like I said, that brick effect that you see going up the wall there, and a nice black trim ready and in position, ready for adhesive as well. So, as you can see, we've got little bits cut out here, which is where the pipe comes in. So I'm just going to take my handy little diamond tile cutter and use the side of it just to work my way in to the edge of the tile. Hopefully. So, hopefully, first time, it'll go. So, first time, just rest it up on those bits, and
We'll go back again.
So, first time, just rest it on the wall, and would you look at that? There we are, first time lucky. Let's go and put it on the wall. Ooh. Oh no, you're videoing me.
No.
Pressure.
Everyone's going to judge us techers.
Yeah.
Or lack of techers.
Who let him do it?
Make sure you don't snap that tile. Or you'll be cutting it.
Man in. Are you really that thirsty?
Me, yeah.
Both of you. Man in.
We need some water for the tiles. What do you reckon?
Yep.
You need to go on?
Stick him on.
I haven't tried this yet, so hopefully it goes.
Never going to fit.
I mean, it was me that measured it, so I reckon it probably will.
I need to cut it.
I watched.
So this is now day 2 of tiling. It was a Saturday morning. We don't tend to normally do much over the weekends as it's our chance to rest and recoup. But we had a little bit of energy to spare and we were super excited to get these tiles up on the wall. So we started again and we got as far as doing this 3rd row of tiles. And we got right into the corner until we ran out of spacers. So once all the adhesive was dry and we knocked out all the spacers, it was time to get some grout on the wall. This is a really tough job, very messy, but you can see after we've cleaned the tiles of all the excess grout, you'll see just how amazing that white grout looks on these tiled spaces. We're really impressed with this being our first ensuite that we've done so far, and we hope you'll agree, the tiles look superb.
Just adjusting the position of the shower tray slightly to move it back 1 centimetre towards this wall, which means I've had to move the drainage trap back a little bit. And I was just cutting out some of the old floorboards just to make sure this piece of ply fits a bit better. So I'm just about to lay this ply back down, see whether it's now laying a bit flatter. Much happier with that now. Traps come through nicely, so I can screw that down. Get the shower tray stuck down.
So we're about to finish the ensuite in Ravel room, and we're just looking to take the levelers out, take the spacers out of the tiles on the floor and chuck some grout down. It's probably going to take us a couple of hours this morning, so we'll probably speed up that process and let you know how we're getting on.
So, as you can see, we've hit a slight bump in the road. We had some tiles that we laid down a few days ago that when we were taking the spacers out, you could see that the tiles were being lifted as the spacers were coming out. So, obviously indicating that they weren't stuck to the ground. If I show you a tile very quickly now as well, you can see that very little grout has actually, not grout, very little adhesive has actually stuck to the tile, meaning that there was really nothing holding it down. So they came up really easily, which means the tile obviously wasn't pushed down firm enough, I guess, to really grip the adhesive. So these literally came up just by lifting the tile straight off. So it wouldn't have been safe how it was. So we're just having now to scrape all the tile adhesive off the floor to get it back to the MDF wood that was down. MDF? No, the plywood that was down. And then hopefully we're going to reuse some of these tiles once we've knocked all the old adhesive off, and then reset them again, but it will mean that we won't be able to grout the floor today. So once we'd restuck the tiles, we gave them a couple of days to set, hoping that they would be nice and firm. We then got some black grout down on the ground, and as you can see, this is a very messy job, much more messy than the white, but if you keep refreshing your buckets of water, keep that water nice and clean, and just keep wiping and wiping and wiping, you'll soon get the floor nice and clean, and you can make sure that the grout stays in the grouted areas and isn't stuck on top of the tiles. If you leave any grout on top of the tiles, this can be a nightmare to get off at a later stage. But I'm sure you'll agree, the grout looks superb in black, and it will really complement the black aspects of the shower that we have yet to go in. So we bought this dresser from our local troc, and after making some tiny adaptations, we managed to fit the sink and the tap, and then squeeze it into this area in Ravel.
Lovely job.
So once the shower unit went in, it really made this room feel finished. After that, it was just a case of putting up some minor decorations in that room. You can then see that the Ravel ensuite door needed some care, so we sanded it down, painted it, put a film over the windows to make sure that the person in the toilet had the privacy that they required. We're now moving into the Ravel bedroom. Again, this was very early in the process, so quite a lot of these things are still images. This is what the room looked like when we first moved in. We were very, very busy sanding down all of the walls with just hand sanders, highlighting areas that needed some filling them and sanding them again before we put any paint on the wall. We then painted all of the woodwork in that dark green colour, and Danielle started to edge with the wall green as well. Once we did all the edging, we started painting with a roller, and it was my job to make sure that the ceiling was edged nice and neatly. That last wall is a slightly lighter shade of green, and that's what continues on into the ensuite. Everything in the chateau being done under the watchful eye of Merlin. I hope you'll agree again that the edging looks superb in this room. With very little experience, I'd like to think that we've done a really nice job. With a few bits still to do in the room, Danielle took to some upholstery. She found these beautiful chairs, stripped them of the fabric that was on them, and has begun to put some new fabric to suit that Ravel room. These are going to look superb. We also bought an antique bed from a guy in Paris off a Facebook market. That was a long journey, but it was totally worth it. The bed looks amazing now it's been reupholstered and put into the Ravel room. Even Merlin agrees. This is the most recent picture I had of a Ravel. A few things have changed since then, and I'm sure we'll update you when we're back in France. Next week, we're going to show you what we've done so far in Latouche. Otherwise, we'll see you then, and enjoy the teasers!